Welcome back to the Destination Gettysburg podcast. I'm Rick Hennis, and today I'm joined by Adam Buck. He is a founding board member of the World War II American Experience here in Gettysburg. How are you doing, Adam?
Doing well, Rick. Thanks for the opportunity to be on the show today.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. You opened just a little while ago. We've had a couple of events out here with Destination Gettysburg, and it's nice to see everything coming together. The exhibits have really populated themselves over the past few months. And how's everything been going?
Well, we're moving forward. We've been open since June of 2022, and yes, we've done a lot with the displays in the last not only year and a half, but also the last couple months, and even the last few days, actually. So if you've been in the museum before, I certainly encourage you to come again, because I guarantee something has changed since you've been here last. And we like to do that. We like to keep things fresh, keep things changing around, so there's always something interesting that will be new to the viewer.
Yeah, I know it's the recent history anyway, but over the holiday season you had the taxi cab from It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes, we did. We were very happy to have that on display, and fortunately you will be able to see that in the next several Christmas seasons on display here only. And it's a really neat piece of history, both from a movie standpoint and also from an American automotive standpoint. So, great item. We have more planned within that realm with Christmas and It's a Wonderful Life in the future.
That's amazing. And it's nice to see some unique things here that aren't just based on World War II per se, but from whether it's that era or just general pieces of history. There's a lot to find here at the museum. And on that note, why, this is a simple question, but why Gettysburg? I mean, I know there's a lot of history in the area related to the World War II, but is there a particular reason you chose this area as home?
I think that stems back to 25 years ago when my family moved here, and I think what drew them to the area was the beauty of Adams County, the history, and just the overall charm that Gettysburg has. So it was a good fit for people like my parents who were appreciative of American history, interested in expanding the awareness of what happened in World War II. And it wasn't exactly a thought when they moved here to open a museum, but I can tell you probably 5 years into them living here, they had a thought to open a museum, but they decided to hold off. So around 2016, when that idea came to fruition, when we started the plans for the World War II American Experience, it worked out well, because when you start digging, Gettysburg has got many connections to American history outside of the Civil War. With World War II, World War I with Camp Colt, with Eisenhower, POW camps in the nearby area, just a plethora of interesting and also little-known details about the area during the war and in history outside of the Civil War. So it works out well that we are here geographically, but also the museum ties in nicely to the area historically.
There are a lot of vehicles. I forgot the count. I don't know what the present count you have is, but whether it's tanks, jeeps, whatever the case may be, do you know offhand how many vehicles you have here on the property?
We just had one arrive yesterday from Belgium, a World War II bridge erection truck, and I would say there's probably about 60 vehicles on the museum grounds here right now, with about 30 of them on display, and the other 30 in our motor pool building, which I call that our living exhibits. So if you attend the Memorial Day Parade in Gettysburg, you'll see about 25 of those in the parade or more. When you come to our military weekend show the last weekend in July this year, you will see all of those vehicles and more, probably about 100 military vehicles, all privately owned by different collectors from the area, in operation, on display. So it's good to have some vehicles that we can get out and use to demonstrate for the public, give them that sensory experience. Others stay in the exhibit and tell the story of what they did during the war at all times.
Now that recent addition that you have here that you just mentioned, how does that come here? You said it New Belgium?
Yes.
What's the process like for that to arrive here in Gettysburg?
Well, luckily we have a good friend who's a shipping agent, so
Mm-hmm.
we've used him for other vehicles, and in this case, it's a U.S. good returning to U.S. soil, so that makes
Okay.
it a little easier. But essentially, it's got to be trucked to the port. In this case, it went to the port of Antwerp and then boarded a ship, and they brought that to the port of Baltimore. It was unloaded there and then hauled up by a tractor trailer.
Yeah, it's always very interesting seeing as how you have all these vehicles, how they make their way here. When you're walking through the museum, the last time I was here, there was a Jeep still in the crate. Is that still the case?
That is still a case. Now that's a real World War II Jeep. Now it's a crate that has been replicated. No original crated Jeeps have been found, and I guarantee if one was found, it'd be worth well over $1 million.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So what was done there was a collector friend restored a Jeep, put it in the crate to demonstrate to the public what it did look like originally when they were shipped. However, we do have some unrestored original Jeeps with original tires, paint, seats, etc., that were documented as being in the crate at the end of World War II and sold as surplus.
Wow. What exhibits do you have year round? Like, are there anything? Is there anything that's like here, pretty much all the time, like a mainstay?
Yeah, so anytime you come in, you will definitely see at least one Sherman tank. You will see different Jeeps with different configurations, whether it be a Navy Jeep, an Army Air Force's Follow Me Jeep, several different trucks. We have items from D-Day on display, airborne helmets that were worn on paratroopers that dropped into Normandy on D-Day. There is a mobile machine shop truck, which is actually probably one of the biggest crowd favorites that we have. Even if somebody's not mechanically inclined, they are drawn to that vehicle. It's a very rare vehicle these days, but it's essentially what the name of it is, a mobile machine shop on a truck. So anything they needed to keep a unit of vehicles operational is on that truck. So really an interesting piece, especially for that time period.
Anything new and upcoming in the next few months that you're looking forward to?
We always have several events in the queue, and one of the favorites of the supporters of the museum is Tank Talk. So on May 18th, people can sign up ahead of time to come to Tank Talk, and they will listen to a pretty in-depth lecture on tanks of World War II, armor, warfare overall. They'll get the chance to get inside of one of the Sherman tanks. It's a pretty neat experience for people, and it's very hands-on. We're here to answer questions, and it's just an all-around great experience. We have a book talk with Jared Frederick with the book Into Cold Blue on June 6th.
Is there an easy way people can find these upcoming lectures, events, and so forth?
Follow us on Facebook if they're on there. If they're not on there, come on in, check the place out, sign up for our email newsletters, or go on our website at visitww2.org and immerse yourself into the information. And I highly encourage people to come to the different events we have. We just had a great Women's History Month event. Before that, an 8th Air Force event tying into the new show, Masters of the Air, about the 8th Air Force, the bombers of the 100th Bomb Group stationed out of England. And we also have different events catered to students, to scouts. We allow camping here on the property for scouts. School groups can come in, and we really try to cater it to the age of the students, what their interests might be within World War II. So we're not just a museum where things are on static display. This is a living, breathing museum with a lot of passionate volunteers, driven goal and vision.
When you have students coming by for various events or camping or whatever the case may be, do you find a lot of them asking questions about different types of the war or different parts of the war, just in a general sense of, maybe they had a grandparent who was connected to the war or otherwise?
Some do. Some certainly have that connection and understand what the family, if they did anything in World War II, what they did do. Unfortunately, some really are lacking the grasp of what happened in World War II, so we're trying to fill in those gaps. I could tell you that's changed in the last 10, 12 years since I was a Boy Scout. So really we're trying to bring those vocabulary words alive that these students might learn about in class. D-Day, I remember, was a vocabulary word in high school when I was there. And, I mean, somebody could spend their whole life just studying what happened at D-Day, and there's so many valuable lessons, even just looking at what Eisenhower did regarding D-Day. So we're trying to illustrate that for folks and bring it to life, dive deeper, and really get people engaged with the whole American experience, whether it be on the home front, on the battlefront, manufacturing, or even children collecting scrap to help the war effort.
A lot of that had to do with folks back home, families, what they were doing at the time, and you can get a feeling for that here at the museum. It's not just about the soldiers. It's about those back home who are fighting their own wars. Absolutely.
If you come into the museum exhibit, we have a home front area, and that's expanding as well. We definitely cover the family aspect, the manufacturing aspect, and without that, we could not have won World War II. People were working just as hard on the home front. They were much safer on the home front, obviously, but without that American spirit, I don't think we could have won in the arsenal of democracy. So the GIs on the front lines knew that they were getting the best from back home, whether it be a Sherman tank built in Detroit or rations, which if they got a good one with a Hershey bar or something, might have broken up the monotony, or a letter from home. So all those items from home went a long ways.
The admission here is relatively inexpensive. You're not looking to get rich. Aside from admission per se, is there a way that anybody can really get behind the experience and support it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and opening a museum, the goal was not to make money at all. It was to expand people's interest and knowledge of the Second World War and share with the public this collection that we've amassed over the years, especially at this time where it's so crucial that people learn more about not only the nation's history but the history of the world. But yes, we highly encourage people to get involved, whether it be as a volunteer. We have many great volunteers as docents who take people around on tours, people working the different events, but also people can support financially by going on our website and making a donation, coming in, making a donation. We have various sponsors who have sponsored different aspects of whether it be the display or events. And also we have a limited run of granite pavers that we're selling and have engraved in honor of a loved one. Really, it could be anybody, but a lot of them have been World War II vets or people that have served or somebody that they held close. And those are being installed around our flagpole, which is an 80-foot flagpole with probably one of Gettysburg's biggest American flags. I think it's about 25 by 35. Okay. So yes, we can't do it without the support of our customers and volunteers. It's definitely it's a big effort, and there's a lot more in store. This is just the beginning, and it's going to get even better.
In my head, I'm just imagining all the events that you have coming up, and ones that you've had in the past and will have again, like the Memorial Day Parade. That probably takes a lot of volunteers just to put that on, because you have any number of vehicles going through.
It does, yes, and we're very fortunate to have a crew of volunteers that come in, and they themselves have military vehicles, most of them, and they help with various things around the museum, but also some of them help with the vehicles and everything needs to be checked out: oil, gas, tire pressure. So yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, and it's not uncommon for one of them to break down or run out of gas, but
sure.
We're getting better at that. That's just all part of the experience and fun and the memories.
The experience is something to be seen here. It's one of those things where obviously time and time again with Gettysburg in general and the Civil War history, we like to call upon the fact that people can step here, stand here, see things for themselves, as opposed to just looking at a website or looking at a video somewhere across the country per se. When you come to Gettysburg, you can really step foot here and see Civil War history, but now you can step here and see this with the World War II experience. It's amazing because now you can actually touch with your hands some of the vehicles. You can see them with your own eyes. You can, like the ambulances, some of these key aspects that you've only seen in movies or otherwise. It really takes on a whole other meaning when you can see it for yourselves. But it's really cool that you bring that to us.
It's a joy for us to share it with people, and we have a lot more in the plans. And there are various opportunities for people to come out and see these vehicles in operation, learn more about these artifacts. We have living historians that come out and are very generous with their time and bring their own collectibles out from the Second World War and engage with the public and educate them. So, like I said, it really is a living and breathing museum. We're excited to expand in the future, further develop our displays. Most of the stuff we had prior from my dad's own collection, and he passed away in December. So as the founder of this museum, he did get to see the museum open, which we're very happy about. But now more than ever, we are driven to continue his vision of this museum and share it with the public. So I really encourage people, if they haven't been here, to please make the trip and immerse yourself. And please, if people have come before, come again, because we are always changing things, and things are always developing, and we are always trying to work on enhancing the museum and the exhibit.
With respect to events and so forth, is there a busy time of year for you, like that you get the most interest in people coming by? Really,
all around, all months, we have a lot of interest, and especially when we have events in the wintertime, like we had a Battle of the Bulge seminar with several wonderful speakers, and we had probably over 150, 200 people here that day with several World War II veterans. We had vehicles outside on display, so there's always a lot going on out here, and the people that are really into it or that have been here, they'll make the drive even in December or January when the roads aren't great to come out to the different events we have. So like I said before, please give us a follow on Facebook or sign up for our email newsletter on visit WWII.org to be in the know on the events and information about the museum.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you joining me here today.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. It's been great.
Well, take care now.
You too.
Thank you for listening to the Destination Gettysburg podcast, produced and hosted by Rick Kennis, with thanks to our special guest. No part of this material may be reproduced without written permission. Get inspired for your visit to Adams County, Pennsylvania at destinationgettysburg.com.